On a sunny autumn afternoon, the hallways of Hampton Falls High School were illuminated by a magical golden hue. It was in this setting that the destinies of Emma Walker and Henry Richardson became inexorably intertwined. Hampton Falls in New Hampshire was a town where everyone knew each other, and the lines between the wealthy and the poor were distinctly drawn. Emma, with her tousled brown hair and bright amber eyes, was a figure known for her sharp intelligence and determination. She grew up in the row houses of the working-class neighborhoods where the stories of her father and mother echoed with the sweat and sacrifice of years spent working in local factories. Meanwhile, Henry, with his impeccable demeanor and well-groomed blonde hair, was the embodiment of East Coast wealth. The young heir of the Richardsons, a family that shaped the city with their real estate ventures, walked the hallways with unwavering confidence. One day, under the ancient oak tree near the football field, Henry approached Emma, who was peacefully reading. "Are you enjoying that book?" he asked with a gentle smile. Emma looked up, surprised. "Yes, I am." "Why?" "I heard it's a classic," Henry replied, sitting down next to her. "And, well, I was looking for a reason to talk to you." From that encounter, a growing passion ignited between the two, becoming the talk of the town's gossip circles. Sometimes, at Richardson family gatherings, one could hear, "That Walker girl is trying to infiltrate our status, Henry. Can't you see?" Aunt Clara remarked, wrinkling her nose. And at the Walker family dinners, Emma's father warned, his gaze filled with concern, "Emma, be cautious with that young man. He might have good intentions now, but do you really think the Richardsons will accept you into their lineage?" The passion between Emma and Henry became a symbol of defiance in Hampton Falls, a town now more divided than ever by two indomitable hearts. Amidst the hidden corners of Hampton Falls and the hours spent beneath the ancient oak tree, Emma and Henry's love flourished with overwhelming intensity. However, like all love stories that challenge conventions, they were not exempt from obstacles. The confirmation of Emma's pregnancy came as a storm of conflicting emotions in their final year of high school. Sitting together in Emma's room, with the first rays of morning streaming through the window, she held Henry's hand and with teary eyes revealed, "Henry, I'm going to be a mother. We're going to be parents." Looking at her with a mixture of surprise and affection, he responded, "We'll face this together, Emma. No matter what others say." The town streets were filled with whispers and furtive glances. Did the Walker girl get pregnant by the Richardson boy? Society ladies would gossip while shopping, and the news became fuel for Hampton Falls rumors. The scandal of the pregnancy was amplified by the deeply rooted biases of the town. But for the couple, true joy resided in the gentle heartbeat they heard on the ultrasound and in the small image that showed they would have a girl. "I imagine her with your eyes and my hair," Emma whispered dreamily as they both gazed at the ultrasound image. On a cloudy afternoon, Emma and Henry's hearts were flooded with a deluge of emotions when Dr. Michaels, the town's obstetrician, revealed that Emma's pregnancy was high risk. Sitting side by side in the doctor's office, hands intertwined, they leaned on each other for support through the unsettling confirmation. "Emma, you'll need stricter monitoring and proper rest," the doctor warned, analyzing the reports before looking deeply into their eyes. "The health of both mother and baby is our primary concern." Henry, searching for words to comfort Emma, asked, "Doctor, what can we do to ensure everything goes well?" "Commitment, attention, and love," Dr. Michaels answered, "and of course, follow all our recommendations to the letter." The weeks that followed were filled with medical appointments, gentle echoes of their daughter's heartbeat, and a flood of medical advice. They found solace in small things like the sensation of Emma's hand on her belly and whispered conversations about future dreams. One night, under the soft starlight, Henry embraced Emma as they swayed gently on their porch. He said, "I dreamed of our wedding, of you walking down the aisle, of our little girl watching. But now, we need to put her in you first." Tears welled up in Emma's eyes as she looked at him and murmured, "I know, Henry. Our happily ever after can wait." Right now, all that matters is the little life growing inside me." With that declaration, they sealed their commitment not only to each other, but also to the future they awaited with hope and love. And on that night, the town of Hampton Falls witnessed two hearts beating as one, facing the unknown with unwavering courage. The hospital waiting room was filled with a deafening silence, punctuated only by stifled sobs and the occasional hum of equipment. Henry paced back and forth, anxiety clearly visible in his tired eyes, while Emma's family waited in silence, a sense of tragedy hanging in the air. Then the door opened, and Dr. Michaels appeared, his face pale and his eyes lacking their usual glimmer of hope. He hesitated for a moment, searching for the right words before approaching Henry. "Henry, we did everything we could, but I'm sorry," his voice trembled with the sorrow of the news. Henry, his voice choked with shock, asked, "And Emma? How is she?" "Emma is stable, but she'll need all the support she can get right now," the doctor replied, trying to offer some consolation. When Henry entered the hospital room, he found Emma, her eyes red and swollen, staring into emptiness. The soft light of the room illuminated her pale face, pain evident in every line of her expression. He approached, sat down beside her, and held her hand, trying to find words of comfort. "She was so close, Henry," Emma murmured, tears freely flowing. "We lost her, our little star." Henry, swallowing the lump in his throat, replied, "I know, Emma. I know. But we'll get through this together." They embraced, seeking strength in each other as the world around them seemed to crumble. Emma's fragility had been pushed to the limit. When, just a week after the indescribable loss, Henry invited her for a walk in the city park, the same place where they had shared laughter, dreams, and promises of eternal love, the leaves on the trees swayed gently in the breeze. But the atmosphere was laden with palpable tension. Henry stopped beside a weathered wooden bench where they had often sat hand in hand. His gaze seemed distant, almost empty, and the coldness of his words contrasted deeply with the Henry Emma knew. "Emma," he began, hesitating, I don't know how to say this. I think the tragedy, everything that's happened, it's changed something within me." She looked at him in confusion, a sense of unease settling in. "Henry, we're grieving. It's natural to feel this way, but we can overcome it together." He shook his head slowly, his eyes avoiding direct contact with hers. "It's not just that, Emma. I don't know how to explain, but I don't feel the same way about you anymore." Emma felt like the ground had been ripped from beneath her feet. "What are you saying, Henry? How can you say something like this after all we've been through?" He let out a deep sigh. "I wish I could give an explanation that made sense. I just can't go on, not after everything." Without more words, he turned and left, leaving Emma alone and devastated. Emma fell to her knees, her tears mingling with the earth below. But even in the midst of the pain of loss and betrayal, a spark of determination ignited within her. She wouldn't allow this dual tragedy to define her life. She would find the strength to move forward, not just for herself, but also for the daughter who never had a chance to be known. With the traumatic events of her past still fresh in her mind, Emma made a firm and resolute choice to channel her energy into learning and self-improvement. She enrolled in a prestigious business school, diving headfirst into the intricate details of the real estate world. Sleepless nights spent with stacks of books and market plans quickly became her norm. During a class, her professor, Mr. Mitchell, a legend in the business world, noticed her enthusiasm and dedication. "Emma," he approached her after a lecture, "you have a genuine passion for this. Have you ever thought about specializing in luxury properties? It's a challenging niche, but with your determination, you could truly excel." She pondered, her eyes lit up with the idea. "I never thought about it, Mr. Mitchell, but maybe it's exactly the challenge I need." With time and the right guidance, Emma became a force to be reckoned with in the realm of luxury real estate. Her name echoed in elite circles, with magnates, celebrities, and international investors seeking her expertise. Her success graced the headlines of various business magazines, her inspiring story becoming an urban legend. But behind the glamour and the spotlight, Emma's personal life remained quietly stagnant. Friends and family often questioned potential suitors, but she always deflected. At a family dinner, her sister Grace remarked, "Emma, you're so successful in your career. Why not try to find someone to share your life with?" Emma looked at the wine in her glass, a glimpse of sadness passing through her eyes. "Some scars take a long time to heal, Grace, and some maybe never heal." While occasional romances entered her life, the ghosts of the past and the pain of loss prevented her from fully surrendering to a new love. She had built a wall around her heart, protecting herself from the possibility of another broken heart. 10 years had passed in the blink of an eye. Emma's real estate empire had grown exponentially, and the prestige of the Walker name now resounded strongly in the luxury corridors of Manhattan. Emma had conquered the world, but the weight of her past never left her. On an autumn afternoon, the sky tinged with orange and leaves dancing in the wind, Emma stepped out of her sophisticated Fifth Avenue office. She adjusted her scarf when a small figure caught her attention. A girl, no older than 10, with disheveled blonde hair and eyes as deep blue as the ocean, extended a trembling hand holding an almost empty cup of coins. "Ma'am, can you please help?" The girl's voice was soft, but carried a sadness that shouldn't exist in someone so young. Overwhelmed by a powerful feeling, Emma knelt beside the girl, steadying her face. There was something incredibly familiar in those eyes, a distant, almost ethereal memory. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Emma asked, her voice almost a whisper. "Amy," the girl replied, a shy smile appearing on her lips. Emma took a $20 bill from her purse and handed it to Amy, but that gesture seemed trivial compared to the flood of emotions washing over her. "Stay safe, Amy," she murmured, her voice choked, that night in her penthouse overlooking the Manhattan skyline. Emma sat on the couch with a glass of wine, lost in thought. Amy's face, those blue eyes, haunted her. It was as if the universe was sending her a sign, a reminder of a past she desperately tried to forget. Hours turned into days, but Amy's face wouldn't fade from Emma's mind. The noise of the city, the glittering lights, none of it could silence the memory of that girl with such blue and sad eyes. An insatiable curiosity tormented Emma, urging her to seek answers. Armed with determination, she returned to the same spot the next day, hoping to find young Amy. To her relief, there she was, sitting in the same corner with the cup of coins in her hands. "Amy." "Emma," she began, hesitant as she approached. "Do you remember me?" Amy looked up, recognition lighting up her eyes. "You're the lady who gave me the big note yesterday," she said with a faint smile. "That's right," Emma replied. "Can you tell me a bit about yourself? I'd like to help if I can." Amy, the weight of the world seemingly resting on her young shoulders, said, "Well, I live with my dad. Mom, she's gone since I was born. Dad always took care of me, told me stories about how much he and Mom loved each other." She paused, choking back a sob. "But now he's really sick. He hasn't been able to get out of bed for almost a year. I try to take care of him, but it's hard." Tears filled Emma's eyes as she listened to the girl's story. The motherly heart within her chest pulsed with compassion and a burning desire to do something, anything, to ease that child's pain. Emma's eyes met Amy's. "I'd like to bring some food and medicine to your home. It seems like you guys could use it," she spoke gently, but behind her offer was an intense longing to understand more about the life of this girl who felt so familiar. Amy hesitated for a moment, her blue eyes assessing the woman before her. "Okay," she responded with a slight nod. As they navigated the alleys and streets of the city, Emma could feel tension growing within her. With every corner, every loose stone, every shadow cast on the brick walls, it seemed there was a secret waiting to be unveiled. When they finally arrived at Amy's home, the scene was a testament to struggle and resilience. The walls were worn with exposed bricks, and the windows were nearly entirely covered with wooden boards. The house seemed to have lived multiple lives, much like the people within it. Inside, a dim glow from the fading daylight revealed the figure of a man lying on a mattress on the floor. Even in that dimness, Emma recognized the silhouette, and a wave of emotion hit her, leaving her breathless. Henry, now a thin man with pale skin and deep marks of exhaustion, looked up. His eyes, once bright and full of life, now held surprise and somehow infinite sadness. "Emma," he murmured, his voice laden with disbelief. Emma approached, pain and surprise evident on her face. "Henry, what happened to you? And Amy, is she your daughter?" Henry swallowed hard, seeming to gather strength to respond. "Yes, Emma. She's my daughter, our daughter." Henry swallowed with difficulty, his shoulders trembling as he let out a distressed sob, each word coming out in painful pauses. I was blind, Emma. They manipulated everything, and I didn't see. A week after the funeral, I discovered the terrible truth." He looked at Amy, who stood hesitantly beside Emma, her curious eyes observing the interaction. "This is our Amy. The Richardsons, with their influence and money, managed to orchestrate the exchange of our daughter for another child who didn't survive. They did it to sever any connection you could have with us." Emma, tears flowing freely, looked deeply into Henry's eyes, searching for signs of deceit. How could they do this to us? They stole a life together from us. They robbed me of the opportunity to see my daughter grow, to hold her, to love her. Henry sighed, his eyes now clouded with sadness and guilt. "When I found out, I was devastated but also trapped. They threatened me, saying they would leave me penniless if I strayed from the plan. They had power, Emma. I was young and weak, and honestly, I was terrified of losing everything. And you lost, Henry. You lost more than they could ever take from you," Emma spoke with a trembling voice. Henry wearily continued, "I know, Emma. My family's fortune vanished with the crisis. My parents died soon after, fell ill from not being able to bear the misery, and they suffered the consequences of their actions. But we lost something irreplaceable." He went on, his gaze lowered. "I was a fool, Emma. Every day I looked at Amy and saw what we lost. Cowardice kept me from searching for you, from correcting my mistakes." Emma, a mixture of anger, sadness, and compassion, reached out, touching Henry's pale face. "Now is not the time for accusations, Henry. You need medical care, and Amy. Amy needs both of us." Henry's health deteriorated rapidly, but thanks to Emma's intervention, he was immediately admitted to one of New York's top hospitals. The sterile scene of the room contrasted with the gravity of the situation. The doctors, with serious expressions and sorrowful glances, informed Emma that Henry had an advanced brain tumor. His chances were slim, and time was short. Despite the storm of emotions that ravaged her heart, the anger for the past, the sorrow for the present, and the uncertainty of the future, Emma decided to stay by Henry's side. She was there not just for him, but also for Amy and for herself, to find the peace that had been stolen from her years ago. In the hospital bed, with machines beeping around him and the glimmer of life slowly fading from his eyes, Henry held Emma's hand with surprising strength for someone in his condition. "Emma," he murmured, his voice weak and broken with regret. "I know I caused so much pain, and words will never be enough to express my remorse. But I need to leave this world knowing that Amy will be okay, and that you can forgive me." Emma, tears streaming down her face and mingling with pain and understanding in her eyes, squeezed Henry's hand. "Henry, you made mistakes, but now what's most important is that Amy knows we both love her. I forgive you, and I promise with all my heart to take care of Amy as if every day were a precious gift." With that promise, she offered Henry the relief and peace he so sought in his final moments. In the glittering expanse of Manhattan, where skyscrapers touched the sky and life pulsed on every corner, an old tale of love and betrayal from Hampton Falls found its long-awaited conclusion. The city's heartbeat, filled with hopes and dreams, became the backdrop for a reunion that seemed written in the stars. Inside an elegant apartment overlooking Central Park, Emma gazed out the window, the city's silhouette reflecting in her eyes. Amy entered the room, the afternoon sunrise illuminating her golden hair and enhancing the intense blue of her eyes, those eyes that so resembled Emma's own reflection in the days spent in Hampton Falls. Amy approached cautiously, her hands hesitating. "Mom," she whispered, the word loaded with a mix of hope and uncertainty. Emma turned her eyes, meeting Amy's, and in an instinctive gesture, she enveloped her daughter in a tight embrace. "I'm so sorry for everything, Amy," she murmured, her words muffled by the girl's hair. "I just want to start anew with you," Amy replied, tears welling up, but this time they were tears of relief and love. And there, in the pulsating heart of Manhattan, amid the frenzy and beauty of the city, a mother and daughter unjustly separated by a treacherous plot found in each other the love and strength to begin a new, radiant chapter of their lives. Thank you for joining us today on Deep Stories. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video.